Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to a Fatman on location today, Sunday the 5th of June, heading to the MCG to watch Collingwood and Hawthorn do battle, the annual Hawthorn defeated Collingwood game. we never beat them. We've beaten them only twice since 2011. Since that amazing prelim final win. So they're definitely our bogey team. In fact, I think they've won something like 35 of the last 50 against us. So they definitely have the wood on us. Some hilarity, that makes any sense by me. I thought the game started at 3:20, and so had my beautiful sister-in-law over having a good old chat, and it was about 10 to 1. And I said, I'm going to go get my VR out, and I'll show you how cool the VR is. And then I pulled out and just before I did, I thought, you know what, I might as well record now, so I'm not in a mad rush when I have to leave. I'll record the game. I'll set the recording on the Foxtel IQ, and then saw that the game started at 2 o'clock. And yeah, mad panic. I'm now on my way. So it's now 20 past 1, and I'm on my way there. So fine form. Fatman, fine form by me there. All good. If I missed the first 5-10 minutes, I missed the first 5-10 minutes. It is what it is, as long as I get there safely, as long as I get in. But yeah, so look, Hawthorne V Collingwood should be a cracking game. Hawthorne need to win to stay in touch with the 8. If Collingwood win, they will go into the 8. Although it's with an extra game played, because we would have played 12 games, whereas the Western Bulldogs and Richmond would have only played 11. So the Geelong beating Western Bulldogs clash result was actually quite a good one for Collingwood. And yeah, last week Sydney beating Richmond was a good result for Collingwood as well. It kept us in touch with the 8. Had both those sides won, it would have made getting into the 8 really difficult. And it just goes to show that the West Coast loss earlier in the year, where they kicked 14-3, was a really shocking loss, and it's probably going to cost us in the end of the year, considering I mean, look, not to say we might lose our next 10 and not be in contention anyway, but should we be in contention, our last 3 games are going to be very pivotal and important. But on to today's game. Hawthorn, our bogey side, a late out, Jamie Elliott out, and Reef McInnes in. Tyler Brown, the sub, was really good. Even though obviously you don't want Jamie Elliott to be laid out by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen what he brings to the table these last 2 weeks, how important he is to our side. Our best 2 games have been the last 2 weeks. That's been with him in the side. How important he is. It's good that we didn't put in one of the Brown brothers. It's good that Reef McInnes gets a go. So welcome back, Reef. The Great Barrier, as they call him, and a bit of a shame to see Jamie Elliott out. But Reef McInnes into the side as a late in, and Tyler Brown named as a sub. I don't really get the point of dropping a guy and then making him the medical sub. Surely would have been much better. We did the same with Bo McCreary last week, how he got dropped and got made. If you've dropped him for a reason, let him go back into the 2s, get a bit of form, and then, if he gets 35 and kicks a few, then put him back in. I don't see that he doesn't get to play any football this week, and then he gets considered for a game next week. Doesn't make any sense. But look, we were going to look at Hawthorn are our bogey side. No matter where they've played, they've still got some good players. Chad Wingard, Gunston, the Mitchell, O'Meara. They've still got a lot of quality players in their side. They've got a good defence. They got a great defender, James Sicily, all-Australian defender. He's been someone we've found it hard to score against in recent times. So yeah, we're going to need to be really on top of our game to get the 4 points today. It'd be really good to beat Hawthorn, because yeah, we very rarely ever beat them. In fact, one of those wins was the one where we were 6 goals to nothing at quarter time and pulled out one of the more miraculous wins, being 37 points down and to come back and win. So that was a great result. So yeah, we really struggled to beat Hawthorn. So for us to beat them, we're going to have to really restrict Tom Mitchell, because he averages 743 possessions against us a game. We're going to have to really restrict him. So we're going to have to win the midfield battle. We can't afford that. We're going to have to keep their forwards in check. You know, no little sneaky goals. And we're going to have to keep their momentum down. And we're going to have to score, because historically we've struggled to score against Hawthorn, particularly the last 4 or 5 times we played them. And even when we've won, particularly the last time, we only scored 9 or 10 goals. We just happened to restrict them to 3-9, I think it was. So we really need to get in there. I think to win, our ruck's going to have to play a really important game. You know, Mason Cox, who had a ripper last week against Carlton, he's going to need to replicate that performance. Darcy Cameron's going to need to play solid. Look, he's been solid all year. You know what you're going to get from Darcy. And yeah, midfield, he's going to have to really perform well. You know, I'm really keen to see Q, and Bo McCreary is going to need to perform. I think he's one of the lucky ins, to be honest. I don't think he's deserved his last few games. You know, I don't see him as a pressure player. He's not in the top 10 in the comp for anything to be considered a high quality pressure player. So he's going to need to get his possession rate up and his goals up, because he's a forward, and you need your forwards kicking goals. So let's see how we go. It's Collingwood versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn versus Collingwood. Not sure. Pretty sure it's Hawthorn versus Collingwood. I'm on my way in. Going to get there. My tip. Look, I think I did a late change last week. I was tipping Carlton all week until the last moment. I changed my tip to Collingwood by 6, and we won by 4. So I'm going to tip Collingwood by 4 goals. Oh, 3. I think it's going to be a pretty wet and rainy day. So I think it's going to. I don't think 4 or 5 goal margins are going to be in it. I might be wrong, but yeah, I think it's going to be Collingwood by 3. 3 goals, that is, not points. Collingwood by 3 goals. Ironically, I think whilst the rain helped us against Fremantle 2 weeks ago, I think if it ends up raining like it did last week, I actually think it's going to be more advantageous to Hawthorn, because I think we're a better team than Hawthorn, and I think that'll even the two sides out a bit more. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain too much, particularly, you know, we're going in with a forward line that consists of Cox, Henry, particularly Cameron down there, and my check, the rain might bring the ball down to ground. Although when the ball does go to ground, Brody Mycheck is a scrapper, so you know, he's a tall that doesn't get affected by the rain too much. In fact, when we played against Fremantle 2 weeks ago, both of his goals were sockers along the ground. So he's definitely one that can scrap a ground. So yeah, so Hawthorn versus Collingwood. Yeah, Collingwood need to win to go into the 8 at the end of the round, and Hawthorn need to win to stay in touch with the 8. Collingwood at the moment are 2 games ahead of Hawthorn, so which means Hawthorn are 3 games out of the 8. So unlikely to play finals, but this is a win Hawthorn need to have if they want to play. And Collingwood, this is a win they need to do to stay in touch. We lose this, we've got Melbourne next week, so it's potentially, well, more than likely will be 2 losses in a row, and then we've got the bye, so that basically, you know, we could end up being 3 or 4 games out of the 8 by the time we play in 3 weeks time. So we don't really want to be losing that game. So Hawthorn versus Collingwood, I tip Collingwood by 3 goals. MCG, it's now 1:28. I've got 32 minutes to get to the game. Yeah, it'll be a rip snort, it'll be a cracker. I think it'll be a great game, Collingwood and Hawthorn. I'll see you at quarter time. This is Fatman on location for Jimmy and the Fatman. So quarter time at Jimmy and the Fatman. Collingwood, good start to the game, leading by 20 points, 5-4 to 2-2. Both sides are going to about 50% inside 50 rate for scores. So whoever looks like it's going to be a high scoring game, and whoever gets the inside 50 counts more is going to win. Yeah, Collingwood 5-4, 2-2. Darcy Cameron playing really well for the Pies. It was tight early on. Collingwood got away. Hawthorn got a couple of easy goals, which I wouldn't have been happy with. For the goals for the Pies, Ginnivan back in the goals after last week's goalless performance. He's got 2. Cameron, Sidebottom and McCreary with the singles, and for the Hawks, Lewis and McDonald, their goal scorers. The stats for the Hawks, Morrison and Bramble 9, Mitchell, Shields with 7, Hardwick and O'Meara, Nash, Sicily and a bunch of others with 5. For Collingwood, Nick Dacos with 11, Crisp as always 9, Adams 9, Cameron Pendlebury with 8. Darcy Cameron probably missing ground at the moment, playing really, really well in regards to the stats. Collingwood more possessions, 7 free kicks to 2, but they've been there. We've had more contested ball, almost double. More marks inside 50. Hawthorn have the hit outs, 8 to 4. and have more tackles. So Collingwood 9 shots at goal 4, and more importantly lead the inside 50 17-8. So Collingwood lead by 20 points at quarter time. Look to have the Hawks measure in most departments, but look, it's only quarter time. We are playing the Hawks, who would like to toy with us some fun. So let's see how we go. I'll be back at quarter time. This is Fatman on location, Collingwood versus Hawthorne. So I'm back to Jimmy the Fatman on location. Sunday, Collingwood versus Hawthorne. It's freezing, the rain's coming down. Hawthorne versus Collingwood. Collingwood leads 7-9-51 to 4-4-28. Horrible game of football that quarter. Collingwood kicked 2-5, the Hawks kicked 2-2. The Hawks got a bit of momentum towards that second quarter, and Collingwood hung on. It's really all you can say. There hasn't been a lot to write home about. The stats winners for the Pies, Nick Dacos on 19, Crisp 17, DeGoey, Pendlebury 16, Darcy Cameron best on ground at the moment with Taylor Adams on 15. For the Hawks, Mitchell, you wouldn't expect anything less, on 18, Morrison, Bramble on 16, Impey on 15. For the goal kickers for the Pies, Ginnivan is 2, Mychek, Cameron, Sidebottom, Lipinski and McCreary the singles. For the Hawks, Lewis 2, Jaya and McDonald have singles. We look at the stats. Hawthorne have actually had more of the ball, have been more effective with the ball. Collingwood 6 more free kicks, but 27 more contested possessions, which is going to be really important into these conditions. Taken 4 more marks inside 50. The Hawk Rucks are winning, hit out 70-12. Collingwood have had more clearances, 18-13. And Hawthorne have laid 39 tackles to 26. So Hawthorne are working and putting the work as well, and that's why they've been blown away, because Collingwood had got double the inside 50s. That's pretty much why they doubled the score as well. I mean, when you look at it, they are nearly double Hawthorne's score, so we are really, had we kicked straight us 7 goals 9, then 7 goals 9, we'd probably be a lot further in front. Darcy Cameron best on ground at the moment by a long way. For the Pies, look, really just got to stop their ease of scoring inside 50. So they're scoring at 42%, 8 shots from 19 entries. Although we got 48, 16 shots from 33 entries. So it's going to be an interesting second half to see how it all pans out. I still think we're showing a bit more class. Although, like I said, the rain is going to even things up. Although it is going to make it hard to score, they probably will get a scoring end now. So look, it should be a whip-snorting second half, hopefully better than what it is now. Collingwood by 23 points. Here we go, 3-quarter time for Jimmy the Fatman, and we've got another thriller on our hands as a Collingwood supporter. Collingwood up by 5 points as Hawthorne kicked the first 4-1 of that quarter before Collingwood kicked the next 1-1. Collingwood lead 18-58 to 8-5-53. Collingwood leading by 5 behinds. For Hawthorne, Lewis has kicked 3, Roost, Jatf, McDonald, Kaczynski, Butler for the singles. And for the Pies, Ginnivan 2, Mychek, Cameron, Sidebottom, Henry, who put us back in front, Lipinski and McCreary the singles. For the stat winners for the Hawks, Mitchell 26, Morrison at Bramble 20, Sicily 19, Shields 18. For the Pies, Nick Dacos having a great game on 28. Crisp 24, Adams 23, Cameron 22, Lipinski 21. The stats, Collingwood 22 more possessions. We went to work the last 15 minutes. That's the third quarter. It was really, our first 10-15 minutes was really shocking. We let them kick 4 unanswered goals, and then we really evened things up. So look, we're going to have to pick things up. Hawthorne have laid 17 more tackles. They're going hard at it. So I'll see it 3. Look, I said at the end of the game, we're up by 5 points, just got to hold on. Collingwood 18-58, lead the Hawks 8-5-53, go Pies. Welcome to the game wrap-up. Fatman on location, Collingwood versus Hawthorne, Hawthorne versus Collingwood at the MCG. Wow, what a last quarter. That was one of the weirdest last quarters I've ever watched. Collingwood kicked the last goal of the third quarter and put us 3 or 4 points in front, and then in the first minute, just like they did in the first minute of the third quarter, Hawthorne kicked a goal, and Hawthorne kicked a goal to put them back in front. They kicked the next one, and then actually they had 3 quick shots on goal in about 3 minutes, where they missed all three, and they'd be kicking really good all game. So, and then after that, we kicked the last 2-1 of the game or something like that. And we ran out 4-point winners for the second week in a row. Collingwood loving to make their supporters poop our pants a little bit. So yeah, so that was and then some of the calls in the second half were really interesting, because obviously Collingwood shot out to a 7 or 8 free kick lead, and as the umpires always do, they evened it up, and that diving below the knee seemed to against Darcy Moore was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. The contact below the knee rules is when you dive into a player's knees. He didn't dive into a player's knees. He dove, got the ball, and the Hawthorn player reached out with his leg to sock the ball off the ground. He didn't actually make contact with his knees. In fact, the Hawthorn player kicked Darcy Moore in the back. So, yeah, anyway, they put Hawthorn in front. It was a shocking decision, but, you know, it is what it is. And, of course, the umpires obviously had a directive out there to not pay free kicks to the free kick getters, such as Waitman, and obviously Ginnivan was targeted today as well. But the difference is, while Waitman was accentuating his free kicks, like as in getting touched under the chin and throw, Ginnivan didn't do that. Ginnivan was looking for the high contact, got the high contact, which is a free kick. It's a free kick, and they didn't pay it. But again, look, we won. We got more free kicks in them. Look, I just thought that the last quarter was very interesting, particularly even the holding the ball we got right with about 10 or 15 seconds to go. I thought it was a shocker as well. But we won the game. What we kicked in the last quarter, 2-2 to Hawthorn's 2-3 to win the game. So yeah, Hawthorn kicked in the second half 6-4, and we only managed 3-3. So Hawthorn turned a 30-point deficit to end up being 10 points in front at some stage in that last quarter. But you know, to kick the last 2 goals won was really brave, and really happy with how we responded and won the game. And as I've said before the game, Hawthorn are a side we really do struggle to beat, and that was a perfect example today. They don't go away, Hawthorn. They make you pay. They're very good inside 50. They don't need a lot of inside 50s to hurt you. In fact, they're the number one. I think pretty sure they're the number one inside 50 team for score conversion. So I mean, we had a lot more inside 50 than what they did, and they scored a lot. So well done to Hawks for putting it up to us. You know, you did what you did, and I take my hats off to you. So let's go to some of the stats as we drive home. So Collingwood win 10-12-72 to 10-8-68 in front of a crowd of about 40, just under 45,000 people. There's a trip 11:60 on the way, and they were saying, you know, it was packed. It was going to be 65,000. I walked in, I'm thinking there's no way it's going to be 65,000 here today. But yeah, there we have it. For the goal kickers for the Hawks, Lewis kicked 4, a couple of them from free kicks. Wingard, Jesus, if they carry on about Ginnivan, don't you carry on about Wingard? Does nothing all game, kicks a goal and celebrates like he's won a premiership, though, the bloke. You know. Anyway, Wingard, 1 goal. Bruce in his 250th game, well done, Bruce. McDonald, Jatf, Kajitsky, Butler, Newcomb. No, Butler kicked a goal. And for the Pies, 2 goals to Henry, you know, won the game for the Pies for the 3rd week in a row. Ginnivan kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. And Mychek, DeGoey, Cameron, Sidebottom, Lipinski, and McCreary. For the possession winners for the Pies, Nick Dacos had 36, 29 to Lipinski, 28 to Taylor Adams, 26 to Darcy Cameron, which is definitely his best game for the club. He was absolutely immense. Crisp 25 along with Scott Pendlebury. And for the Hawks, Mitchell of the Sam variety, 32, Newcomb 24 along with Sicily, Morrison and Bramble all with 24. Look at the stats. Collingwood ended up with a lot more of the ball, particularly in that last quarter. Just had completely dominated possession in that last quarter. and ended up being more effective, had a lot more kicks and a lot more handballs, had 6 more free kicks, 26-20, had 29 more uncontested, 29 more contested possessions as well. So in the wet, you know, that stood them really, really well. Took 7 more marks inside 50, ended up winning the hitouts, which is interesting. So Hawthorn had a big lead in the hitouts, but the Pies struck back, and ended up, where are we going? Hawthorn laid 81 tackles. They really hunted the Pies. And yeah, Collingwood 25 more inside 50s. 25 more inside 50s to only win by 4 points. Just shows you how devastating Hawthorn are inside 50. In fact, you know, 45% of their inside 50s were converted into scores. It's only 34% for the Pies. So that's the stat wrap-up. Collingwood had a lot of good players today. Our midfield played really, really well. I was really happy with how our midfield went. The forwards, no one really stood out, you know, other than Ollie Henry in the last quarter and a half. I thought Ginnivan was really unlucky in the last quarter. He got punished a couple of times. And, you know, you got to be paying. You can't have, I get it that he might be, you know, looking for free kicks, but when you can't plow into a player, smack him on the back, smack him onto the knee, punch him in the head, you know, throw him onto the ground, jump on him as a bit of revenge, you know, you're doing it to an 18-year-old. You're not that tough. And then umpires need to pay free kicks to stop that, because it's going to get dangerous, and I don't like seeing that. Not just because he's a Collingwood player, you know, it's just ridiculous. So I give my 3, 2, 1. The 1's going to be hard. The 2 and 3, I already know how I'm going to give it to. So look, I want to give 1 vote. I'm going to give to it's going to be interesting. 1 vote. Who am I going to give it to? Because look, we had a lot of good players. Lipinski was really good. Adams was really good, especially in the wet. Cameron was fantastic. Crisp was really good. Pendlebury was really good. Sidebottom, that was his best game for a long, long time. But look, I'm going to give 1 vote to Lipinski. 29 possessions. You know, big apologies to Isaac Quain. I thought he was really good as well. And John Noble, I thought more goals kicked on him. He's having a really bit of a rough month. You know, 2 weeks in a row on top of the 3 against the Doggies and 6 against Richmond, so he's having a bit of a mare. But yeah, so 1 vote to Lipinski, you know, 29 possessions, 1 goal, did really, really well, as you know, along with 4 tackles. I give 2 votes to Nick Dacos. He's having a ripper of a first year. He was pretty much the highest possession winner on the ground with 36, 22 of them were kicks, close to 800 metres gained. Well done to Nick Dacos. And best on ground to Darcy Cameron, particularly, you know, in that first half, when the game was there to be won, and it was there to be won the last quarter as well. But he gave Collingwood the advantage that ended up being too difficult for Hawthorn to hold on to in regards to when they hit the front. Because Hawthorn did hit the front twice, and were able to pick them back twice, which shows, you know, the team has a lot of character. Because, you know, when you get headed once after having a lead and you hit the front, then to get headed again within a minute, to then hit the front again and then hold on, that shows a lot of character. So Darcy Cameron in his best game for the Pies, 26 possessions, 1 goal, 1. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. So well done. So 3 votes to Darcy Cameron, 2 votes to Nick Dacos, and 1 vote to Patrick Lipinski. So we go across to the ladder, and we've got not foreseeing the Brisbane Fremantle game, but that has no bearing on the ladder position for this game. Collingwood now sit in the 8 with 12 wins. Sorry, 7 wins after 12 games. What are we? So 7 wins after 12 games. We're now only a game off 4th, who is Geelong. We've also played 8 games. They're 8 and 4, whereas we're 7 and 5. And I keep saying it, that game against West Coast at the end of the year is going to come back and bite us with 1,034 points for 1,003 points against, with a percentage of 103.1. But look, we're in the 8. Got Melbourne in 8 days' time. Look, I mean, the odds of us winning 4 games in a row against the Melbourne side, very unlikely. I will be tipping Melbourne that week. But look, soak it up, Pies fans. We've beaten Hawthorn for only the 3rd time in 11 years. We did well. We're in the 8 for at least, you know, 7 days. We didn't get to say that at all. last year. So I'm really proud of the boys. So that's it for Jimmy and the Fatman for this week. We only did 2 shows this week, so very, very sorry. It was just a really, really busy week for me personally. We'll be back on Tuesday with Taste Test Tuesday, Wednesday reviewing the game, Thursday night football, and then Friday Positivity Friday, Saturday Follow Me Saturday, day in the life of. Probably take a break on Sunday before the Queen's birthday, Jimmy and the Fatman, where Fatman is on location as the Pies take on Melbourne. So look, it's wet and windy. Sunday, last few hours of the weekend. Enjoy your weekend, rest of the weekend. Enjoy your working week next weekend. Enjoy your working week next week. I'll see you on Tuesday with Jimmy. As always, for my family and yours, stay safe. Peace.